Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1247. Hello, it's Mike Matthews broadcasting from Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont. Today, we're very happy to have the wonderful John Deere, the engineer, Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, here at Cafe Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And we'll bring you a brand new segment. A brand new news segment called Live and LOCO.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I've been trying to finish the brand new Gilmore Girls on the Netflix, and it's rocked my world, and I had to go and eat a chocolate vanilla swirl because I love it so much. Merle Haggard. Yeah. That's
Mike's Daily Podcast.
someone else we lost in 2016. Gosh, what a crappy year. Ooh, and I got a special segment.
Mike's
Emails from email.
Daily
And your calm and not so calm.
Podcast.
Meant.
Yeah.
Got someone who wrote me. In fact, why don't we get to that right now, producer Mike? Okay, Mike.
Oh my God!
Email for email and your calm and not so calm mess.
Yeah, so you can email me Mike's Daily Podcast at gmail.com, or you can comment on any of the wonderful social media that you can find this show. A list of those at mikesdailypodcast.com. But I got this email from someone named Raise the Semi. And Raise the Semi writes, "Before He Cheats is the only good country song. This is all in caps, by the way, as if Raise the Semi was yelling at me. And I think Raise is responding to something I said maybe 2 podcasts ago, where I was talking about how I'm on countrycrossroadsradio.com on the weekend doing my internet country radio show, and how people, when they hear I do country, they're like, oh, I only like Johnny Cash. I don't like country, I only like Johnny Cash, because Johnny Cash is cool because he was the man in black, and yes, he was cool. But as Raise the Semi writes, Before He Cheats is the only good country song. Did I mention this is all in caps? Oh, look, who just walked in. Before He Cheats is the only good country song. Johnny Cash is like, okay, but Carrie Underwood rules, okay? Have a good day. Signed, Haley. Oh, it was Haley. Haley wrote me from the Daily Haley, which we have not done in a long time, sadly. Oh, somebody walked in as I was yelling that email for me to you. Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, gift shop supervisor. Like, how's Haley doing these days? Haley's doing good. I'm going to Haley's New Year's Eve party this New Year's Eve. I'm so excited. Yay, Mike Matthews. That's great. Yay. Yes, yay indeed. Mike Matthews? Yes. I like Gilmore Girls, too. Yes, and I'm trying to watch the new season that they put on Netflix, and it is so wonderful because it is written by the creator of the show, Amy Sherman Palladino, who the last season, I think the last 2 seasons, look who else just walked in, that she did the show on the CW, WB, whatever you want to call it, they totally, they took it away from her basically, or she walked away, and it was written by these horrible writers that just wrapped up the show so badly. So now she got the chance to wrap up the show the way she really wanted it to, by keeping it consistent with the episodes that aired previously. And it's just fantastic. Soap opera-y, CW-y stuff, but yet there's actually some cursing that happens. Emily Gilmore finally gets to cuss. Oh, the mom of Lorelai. It's so funny. She finally gets to not cuss that much, but she cusses a little bit, and it's wonderful. And they just brought all the characters back. Even Edward Herman, who was the actor that played Rory's dad, he comes back. The Mr. Gilmore, he comes back. Of course, he passed away, though. Edward Herman passed away a couple years back due to cancer, but they captured, some of the scenes that he was in the show and had him appear like in a flashback form, but they CGI'd it in an interesting way. No, they didn't take some actor and morph the lips moving like they did with the Princess Leia in the new Star Wars movie. And sadly, yes, we lost Carrie Fisher. And it's weird because I talked to a couple people about Carrie and about how, yeah, she had a heart attack recently, but it looked like she was recovering. Haley was telling me this. Like, we thought she was going to be fine, but no. Another celebrity we've lost at the end of this year. Talked about George Michael last show. And Stormy Phoenix also. I should add this addendum to the emails from email and your comment, not so comment. She commented and said, hey, I liked the last thing I said on the last podcast about George Michael and mentioned the song Freedom. He did 2 songs that had to do with freedom. He did the one he did with Wham, I Don't Want Your Freedom. And then as a solo artist on his second solo album, that also had the song on it, Praying for Time, he had a song called Freedom 90, because it came out in 1990, and he was talking all about trying to have his freedom, yet, you know, he was being oppressed by the paparazzi and MTV and all that. But it's you may know that song. Both songs, dancey. George liked to dance, because he has to have faith, the faith, the faith. And don't forget...
And here's today's podcast picture.
The podcast picture today, which is of me singing, I will be your father figure, put your tiny hand in mine. No, it's actually at the Central Basin. Where is that? That's in San Francisco. It's at Bayfront Park in San Francisco, which you can walk to. It takes you about 20 minutes if you're taking BART to the city. But you can walk there, and it's this beautiful big area of waterfront. It's a park, and you can walk along it. It's got its grungy parts, but I thought it was interesting because it had the big ship there, and I was really all alone. This was on Friday night after all the big rains, and I got wet and angry, turned into the Hulk. And there was this beautiful little scene here, so maybe go to Bayfront Park in San Francisco. It's a little known area. I don't think people, when they think of San Francisco, they think of Fisherman's Wharf and all that, but they don't really think of Bayfront Park, which is sort of south of AT&T Park, right next to Dog Patch. And that's where I then had a beer, and I talked about that last show, so I won't go into it this show. But look who else just walked in. Whoa, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman! And this is John Deere, the engineer. I once sailed a boat to Bayfront Park, and then I docked it, and then it sank. Oh no! How horrible. Why did it sink? Because Mr. T was on it, and he punched a hole through the bottom.
Are you crazy?
Oh, what a terrible story. I know. It was not my best. Princess Leia. Yeah, Princess Leia. Don't forget the other role she played. Carrie Underwood was also the one trying to assassinate the Blues Brothers in the movie The Blues Brothers. And she was just hilarious in that with all her weaponry trying to take down the Blues Brothers. Okay. And Greg Edwards brought that up to me, who is a gun fan, and I can see why he brought that up, because there's a lot. She's packing a lot of heat in the Blues Brothers, which my father is in. I don't know if I've mentioned that. I think I did. Yeah, I recently was looking through YouTube, and they have the scene that my father is in. It's that lounge scene when the Blues Brothers are trying to get the band back together, and part of their band is performing at a bad lounge act at a Holiday Inn, and my dad is sitting in the crowd watching them, and you can see him because there's not many people in the crowd because it's a bad band, bad lounge band. But so you can see that picture. Oh no, I didn't put that on Mike'sDailyPodcast.com. But there's other cool things at Mike'sDailyPodcast.com. Past shows, past podcast pictures. There's a link to Amazon if you want to help out the show. If you're gonna buy any of those after Christmas deals, there's a link there, Mike'sDailyPodcast.com. Click on that Amazon thing, buy whatever it is you're going to buy on Amazon. That helps us out. There's also a PayPal there. You can help us out that way. You've got a special greeting from all the Cafe Anyway characters. And finally, there's the past interviews, which I'm hoping to get an interview with Irene Pena. She has been interviewed several times. You can find her on Twitter at Music by Irene. She's got a new album coming out in 2017. We're going to debut some new songs coming up at the first couple days of the year. I'll have her on in a special Into an interview. This will be, I think, the third time we've spoken, and I worked with her once upon a time back in Ventura, and she's just a great singer, songwriter, musician, and a new mom. So I will be talking to her in the future. And I wanted to finally wrap up the sadness that I feel about Christmas music disappearing from our airwaves, which you can actually, if you still want to hear some great Christmas music, there's a couple internet radio stations that are going to be on for about another month. Soma.fm does 3 Christmas stations: Christmas in Frisco, Christmas Rocks, and I think it's called Soulful Christmas or Joy, something like that. Joyful Soul, I think is what it is. And it's a soulful Christmas songs that, like Aretha Franklin, Marvin Gaye. It's there was like an early Luther Vandross Christmas song on there I'd never heard. That's a great channel. And Christmas Rocks has got a lot of indie bands. And then Christmas in San Francisco, or Christmas in Frisco, I think is what I call it. Xmas in Frisco is just crazy songs. So yeah, that's still going on. A free plug to Soma.fm, but I listen to them a lot, so they do a great job. Let's get to the new segment called Live and Loco.
Live and Loco.
I'll get a little bit more local in a moment, but first, this came in about a new legal development on the controversy over former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's emails. An appeals court yesterday reversed a lower court ruling and said 2 U.S. government agencies should have done more to recover the emails. A ruling from a Judge Stephen Williams of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit revives one of a number of legal challenges involving Clinton's handling of government emails when she was Secretary of State from 2009 to 2013. She used a private email server housed at her New York home to handle State Department emails. She handled over 55,000 emails, or she handed over those emails to U.S. officials probing that system, but did not release about 30,000 she said were personal and not work-related. According to Reuters, the email case shadowed Clinton's loss to Donald Trump. A district judge in January ruled the suits brought by Judicial Watch and Cause of Action that these suits were moot. But Williams said the 2 agencies should have done more, and since the agencies neither asked the Attorney General for help nor showed such enforcement action could not uncover new emails, the case was not moot. The State Department does not comment on pending litigation, and that's all I have on that. But if you didn't know this, and you are driving around the East Bay, keep an eye out. If you're in Podcaster Valley particularly, keep an eye out for the CHP. They are observing the New Year holiday season with a crackdown on distracted and impaired drivers. So not only impaired, not only if you're drunk, but if you're distracted. And that leads to another thing, the new driving laws for California motorists, including the wireless devices law. Driving a motor vehicle while holding and operating a handheld wireless telephone or other communications device will be prohibited beginning of the year, unless it is mounted on a windshield, dashboard, or center console. So if you've got one of those mounting things, I think it's called duct tape, that will work perfect for you and doesn't hinder the driver's view of the road. The driver's hand may only be used to activate or deactivate a feature or function on the device with the motion of a single swipe or tap of the driver's finger, but not while holding it. The law does not apply to manufacturer-installed systems. So if it's in your dash, if it's actually part of your dashboard, it won't matter. And they're also having this other law about motorcycle lane splitting, Lane splitting is defined as driving a motorcycle between rows of stopped or moving vehicles in the same lane. Now, according to this article in the Castro Valley Forum, the law authorizes the CHP to develop guidelines with specified agencies that will ensure the safety of motorcyclists, drivers, and passengers. It is amazing how I have not seen an accident with a motorcyclist yet, zipping through traffic. Like, all these cars just stop and they go meow, super fast. And it's amazing that no one has taken out my side mirror. Although, when I was in San Francisco one time, a bicyclist came over and hit my side mirror because I guess I had gotten too close to him. What a jerk. Hey, bicycling is healthy. So this crackdown CHP is going to be doing this starting this Friday is a 78-hour New Year's maximum enforcement period, and all available personnel will be on duty. So be aware of that. And there was this, so Amazon wants to get the drones up and going. Here's the thing. The drones flying around, delivering packages. Yes, that's going to be good because of, well, specifically what happened this weekend. Friday when it rained cats and dogs, it was just coming down. And, Basil. He is a dog. And it rained on him, and he got a nice bath from it because I was walking him in the rain. But at noon, when it was really coming down, there was a driver of a FedEx truck, and he lost control of his truck, and he was driving on the very steep Stanton Avenue, and he apparently lost control, and he smashed right through a gate. And they show pictures in the Castro Valley Forum. And he hit him. Oh, wow. It looks nasty. The truck is just totaled. And he was in a hurry. He probably was, I gotta go get all these delivered by Christmas. It was Friday, the eve of Christmas Eve, and he was probably just zipping through traffic as fast as he could. Now, drones can do that without, of course, being on the ground. They're up in the air. But when everything is being rushed, don't you think the drones are going to smash into people, and those blades on those drones are going to cut people up and do worse, maybe blind people? As we go outside a cafe anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. I just gave you a glimpse of Christmas future. And I'm the guy in the hood with the hoodie. And I'm a skeleton, and I'm in black. And look at my hand, it's all a skeleton hand. Hey, I just want to say, won't you play another Somebody Done Somebody Wrong song, BJ Thomas. I just want to say, I'm not a fan of hoodies. But this time of year, when it's so cold, and you got to go outside real quick or something, a hoodie is so perfect because it's got a hat in it. But if you're wearing a hoodie all day and you've got all your icky head grease just going inside that little cup that then sits on your back, that's disgusting. That's why I'm not a fan of hoodies. So, plus they make you look like you're gonna rob a liquor store. No. Chely Shoehart, do you like hoodies? Like hoodies? No. Yeah. I don't see many women wearing them. It's mostly a guy thing. A greasy hair guy thing. Gets into the greasy hair cup. It's a little pouch that you carry along on your back. Anyway, next show, it's going to be Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. Whee!
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!